There is such a creature in the world. They were discovered by a few people, but it has not been confirmed to exist. We refer to this group of creatures as an identified mysterious animal. An identified organism referred to as UMA. Hello and welcome to the UMA video series. Gevaudan is a historic region in southern France. Since the late 18th century, redivided after the French Revolution, the Lord was formed for the current Loz. Vast and impoverished land, sparse population, and historical religious wars and other factors contributed to the diversity of local cultural beliefs. Today's topic. From this mysterious highland, the most famous unidentified creatures in France. World-famous legendary beast. Make me a monster. Like a wolf rather than a wolf. This is people being monsters about hotspots. The most vivid description. Hotspot as a monster. It refers to a pack of canines like wolves. Tall. Riding with a young bull. Even like a horse. Slender head. Short ears. Big mouth. Hair is red or tan. There is a black stripe on the back. The tail is much longer than a wolf's tail. There is a thick hair at the end. They move quickly, powerful, and very aggressive. Has attacked humans frequently in a short period of time. Hundreds of people died. Dozens of people were seriously injured. A veritable bloodthirsty monster. Due to the age of the incident, the value of scholars' understanding of events, and the degree of research, I'm going to summarize what I can find below. Relatively well-written information, in chronological order of events. Share with everyone. June 30th, 1764. Vivalet, in the east of Gevaudan. 14-year-old shepherdess Jenny Bright became the first victim. He was attacked and killed by wild animals while tending to cattle and sheep. In the written records of some writers, he also mentioned that his body was found in a state of disrepair. Liver, intestines, the heart and all the soft parts are eaten away. The next day, July 1st, the girl could not repent before she died. Buried without a leftover girl. Burial tree annotation of parish priest data. It was killed by a ferocious beast, and said that the beast was discovered a few weeks ago, wandering the area, although the incident did not attract the attention of the authorities. But this is the first time a definitive written record has been left. Miracle report. Another record says that the sunrise, the beast attacked a man from Lung, a woman herding cattle. He came home covered in scratches. He said the animal that attacked him acted like a wolf, but the head is longer, mouth is bigger, bushy tail. There is a black stripe on the back. Fortunately, the herd blocked the beast's attack. Saved the shepherdess. August 8th of that year, a 15-year-old girl died in Yuxi, Diocese of Puylaurens. A 16-year-old boy in Goudy, in working in the fields near the forest, bitten to death by an unknown beast. From September to the 26th of that month, there were 4 attacks in a row. On the evening of September 6th, a 36-year-old woman from Alsanque Parish, working in a garden not far from home, suddenly hit by a monster, or press it to the ground, bite his throat. Neighbors who heard shouting held grass cuttings. The sickle and the axe came quickly. Drive him away. 16th night. Diocese of Gevaudan, Merkawa. A boy in Shua Shine town, attacked by wild animals on the way home from the ranch. Lower abdomen was torn. Died on the spot. On September 28th, from Ottawa, a 12-year-old girl walks alone down a mountain from a ranch. Mother saw him from a distance, but just as he walked out of the woods, when bypassing a large rock, a dark shadow fell on him. Kick up a cloud of dust. From a distance, you can see the laundry being lifted up. The girl's mother and 2 brothers rush over like crazy, but upon arrival, the girl's body was found beyond recognition. Cracked stomach. The skin on the top of the head is torn off. A miserable death. At this point, he was only 5 minutes away from the village. The footprints of wild trees were left by a nearby stream, similar to wolves, but the paw marks are more obvious, also flatter. Frequent flagship soon caused panic among the local people. He moves fast. It habitually attacks the head and neck of its prey. People are afraid of this mysterious beast, afraid of becoming the next victim. So the armed operation began. Bring as many weapons as you can. Let me be. And the Lords of Aponson also led the team. Start in the forest around Conduct a large-scale search. The best local hunters go out with their hounds. In Mound. Hunting in Langone and Langdon Heights. Several wolves were hunted. One of them is huge. Maybe the culprit. But the priest expressed reservations. There is no clear record that. When did the official action begin? But according to the University of North Carolina, history professor at the branch school, and Smith's statement, the people most likely to start using government mechanisms is the Synod of the Diocese of Mound, Mr. Eddie Alapeak. In early October, or even earlier, he contacted the regional lord of St. Priest. Tried to produce this beast. Since September, people describe the size of this monster. It's bigger than it was before. By October, the beast, or the terrifying phenomenon known as the beast, start heading northwest, towards the mountains of 7th of the month. In the lactation year, near the village of Apch, a 20-year-old girl died 8 days ago. Lepier, in the Diocese of Feudibel, a 15-year-old boy suffered a serious head injury. There are 3 holes in the abdomen, pierced by sharp objects. As of the end of October, large numbers of wolves were hunted by teams. Hunters are also well paid. But one tragedy after another did not stop. Early November, Langone Dragon Cavalry Life, Wild Mountain Beast. This action, to a certain extent, it reassures local residents. Manor lords and bishops of various regions. Provides a total for killing beasts. Bounty of 4,000 livres. By the middle of the hospital, by the lords and nobles, and the military organized mass hunting operations. More than 50 times. But that didn't stop the tragedy from continuing. From October 8th to the end of the month, there were a total of 4 recorded attacks on adults. November 23rd, 1764. News of a vicious attack. Finally made it to the Avene King Letter Times. It means Let Me Be the Monster event. It's starting to get media attention. By December, rumors of this bloodthirsty monster become more and more mysterious. From a beast to a beast. Monsters with supernatural powers. Some say he can stand and walk on two legs. Invulnerability. Even immortality. Mid to late December. It is a time node with the most intensive crime. St. Luc de Vedrine. There were 8 attacks. There have also been 3 reports from Rio, Tour de London. Due to the fact that the attacks have appeared in many places in a short period of time. So some people speculate that this may not be a... Animals are a bunch of strange beasts. Hunters have seen heat nests. When the monster moves with its cubs. By the end of December, blind Monsignor Gabriel Daupré. A document was made public. Mentioned war, natural and man-made disasters, and the ravages of this extraordinary beast. He told the faithful their misfortune from their own sins. This is the root of the disaster. The final order began on January 6, 1765. 40 hours of prayer for 3 consecutive weeks. Vigil and scripture singing. To wash away the sins of people. But faith doesn't stop the killing. But there were more than 20 in January 1765. Attack. The most famous of these is January 12. Diocese of Chanoy. The 7 children of Villa, watch over the cattle on the hillside, was attacked. In one of them, Potter, led by the boys of Fix, they fought with wild animals. Until the adults arrived, the monster escaped into the forest. Although they tried hard enough, but the beast, or ripped off the right side of a boy's face. Their unity and courage insulted people. Porter also received full education tuition and military tickets. The other kids, they were rewarded to some degree. January 27th of that year, King Louis XV offered a reward of 6,000 livres. Hunt down this deadly beast. On February 1st, the tragedy continued. The beast pursues an 8-year-old boy in Havel. Fortunately, he was rescued by his father and the family dog. February 16th morning. 20 parishes in one shot. Hunt with thousands of participants officially launched. Hound, excitedly looking for target. Drive the beast out of the nest. A hunter shot him. But in the end, let it escape. All through February 1765, 5 more people died in monster attacks. Diamel, the leader of the dragoons, due to long-term lack of practical action. In addition to the increasing harassment of locals by soldiers. Finally, it aroused the dissatisfaction of the herdsmen. Of course, there is also a saying here that Diamel responded actively to the incident, and the locals refused to cooperate, caused him to fail many times. Kill the beast. So, let's just say that. The dragoons were eventually replaced. Lawyer 5 dispatches professional werewolf hunters, Jean Denival and his son, Francois. Let me be the king of guns, they wrote to Bishop Mond. Describes the hunting plan, and brought 6 hunting dogs. 30 outstanding shooters were also selected locally. Organize a manhunt. In March, there were 23 attacks. 2 women and 6 children were killed. March 13th. Jenny Blessing and his children are located in... The garden of St. Albans Parish was attacked. He tried desperately to protect his children. Hand-to-hand combat with beasts. Scratches and bite marks all over the body. But despite your best efforts, his 6-year-old son, Eventually, he died of his injuries. Later, Jenny's bravery was rewarded by the king. In April, another major hunting event was held. A young man with a sword discovered the beast, but the cries for help scared him away. End of the month. The second big hunt still ended in failure. May attack. 4 women were killed, and somebody spotted this animal and shot it. Or fall to the ground twice and stand up again. Finally got into the bushes. Disappear. June. The unit has more than a dozen recorded attacks. 4 people were killed. By July, the case had not stopped. Master Deb has been tracking the whereabouts of the monster, but 2 months of heavy fog and the rain kept them in vain. August 11th, 1765. The maid of an assistant teacher named Menagerie Valley, with his sister Teresa, when visiting a community farm, attacked by monsters lurking on the riverbank. Voley happens to be carrying a long-haired. He raised his weapon, pierced the chest of the beast. I saw the monster screaming and backing away. Poke into the river, rolled a few times, disappear. The 2 girls said, the monster's chest is called white. The back is black. Grow a big, flat head and huge teeth. DY checked the blood on the long hair. Floored their experience, and in the heart of the report to the royal family. Call Malaysia a hot nest as a girl. This building was built by French artist Philippe Capelin. Produced sculpture in memory of Mary Jean Va. The heroic deeds of fighting the monster. September 8th and September 13th, 1765. 2 12-year-old girls died one after another. The terrorist attacks continue. Soon, Francois received reports that around the Sand Monastery near the Ale River, a pack of wolves was discovered. One end of it is unusually large. On September 20th, Francois and his team, in the orchard behind the monastery, found that one. Giant wolf. They approached cautiously, to about 50 steps or so. Francois uses a large caliber. In charge, the shotgun hit him precisely. The bullet passed through the wolf's right eye and entered his body. To the astonishment of the crowd, he stood up again. Francois's nephew, about 10 meters behind the wolf. Shoot again. Hit it. But he stood up again. Swaying, after running 20 yards in the other direction, fell to the ground and died. And this is the famous wolf of Chaz. The Francois report states that they had never seen anything the size of a wolf. Compare with, and he is convinced that the killer is the culprit of the attack. The so-called, if not a monster. October 1st, 1765. The boss's husband was sent to Versailles, the court of King Louis XV. Display in the garden. And Francois is responsible for continuing to hunt down and destroy the beast's spouse and cubs. By November, this horrific killing finally ushered in a short pause. People also began to believe the giant wolf that Francois killed is the source of blood. However, things always surprise everyone. December, the 72nd day after the sand wolf was killed. Attack happens again. 7-year-old Xiaowei's answer, taken by wild animals while grazing. Another teenager nearby let the puppet strive to catch up with the beast, and long hair saved the boy. December 10th, 14th, 20. On the 23rd, another machine flagship case occurred, one after another. One of them is a 13-year-old girl from Rouen. When people find him, only a pair of hands and some scraps of clothing were left. And in the distant Versailles, the king announced the robbery. One of the priests in verdant trying to write a letter to convince the authorities the beast is not a simple wolf. It's another monster that's still committing crimes. But the letter received no reply. Specimen of Chaz wolf. In the early 20th century, due to individual policies at the Natural History Museum in Paris, destroyed, some people think it's a relic from another era. It's worthless. By 1766, maybe because the case is no longer being taken seriously, the records are dwindling. But there were still about 20 people previewing in the first half of the year. Concept, March. In a letter from Adrian Laughing, describes an 8-year-old boy named Gevaudan as he grazes his cattle. The process of being captured and killed. Subsequent series. Small-scale hunting spontaneously by the local population. The activity did not achieve any substantive results. But the monster attack. It doesn't seem to be as frequent as before. From March 2nd to the end of May, 1767. 13 people died in about 3 months. About 1 person per week, on average. The number of cases is as high as more than 30. June 1767. A man named Jean. The Pilgrims of Chastel in Tina. Zell Forest killed a monster with a firebug. The body was sent to Absher for examination. Royal Notary, Roche Etienne, Marlene, confirmed the results and gave the actual inspection report. But because the remains are incomplete, so it can only be speculated. Go to a big wolf dog, Acacia. It is impossible to determine what kind of animal it belongs to. The body was later sent to Paris by the French naturalist Georges Louis Leclerc, checking regardless of count. But unfortunately, due to the long journey of transporting the body, factors such as improper value handling and hot weather, it was badly decomposed upon arrival in Paris. He can only judge. This could be a large wolf. Since then, the terrorist attack that lasted nearly 3 years finally stopped. People verbally transmit Loestel, the great hunter. Because it's him. Ends the genie monster thing. The hunters who helped in the case also received the due reward. So that's all it takes to be a hotbed monster. Key relevant information. Due to too many cases, here are a few of them. Although a detailed process description can be found. But I didn't put it in the video. Interested friends, you can translate these written materials by yourself. For making me a monster, the most curious, no doubt what kind of animal he belongs to. British social critic Charles Dickens once said, "No one knows where this creature came from." For his morphological description, there have never been 2 people able to reach unity of opinion. But his appearance caused widespread panic. Yes, despite numerous reports of sightings and attacks. But people's descriptions of hotspots as monsters. But there are strange differences. These differences usually occur in the color of the hair, body size, facial description, and behavior, etc. and speculation about the true nature of this creature. It's very polarized in the academic world. One school of theory holds that, make me a monster, one or more unusually large wolves. This theory, mainly based on Mr. Merrin's incident report. It describes in detail the surface characteristics of the animal, including dental features. According to French historians, according to the investigation report of Marc Morisot, France in the 17th and 19th centuries, there are approximately 2,000 wolves, or the case of wolves attacking humans. Wolves have always existed. The poet's wolf does not love each other. He believes that if the non-residents are subject to collective panic and the impact of collective depression, their thoughts, deeply imprinted in the popular culture of their era. And this leads to what's called the intellectual elite view. Sharp contrast. Most of the latter mock this. Superstitious mentality. Professor of history at the University of Becca-Lorana. According to Smith, the so-called poet is also thin. It's actually a wolf. And the monster. It should be regarded as a product of the French context at that time. After the 7 Years' War, French society is full of tensions and a sensitive atmosphere. Early to mid 1760s. Tensions specific to France cause anxiety, and panic creeps in, and it evokes the monster in people's imaginations, filling people with fear waiting to be released. Military church, monarchy, and other worrying aspects. It exposes people to an evil attack. Hints of occupation of the southern countryside. Fear affects people in social and political classes. So this monster is also a product of the times. German biologist Karl Hanstank believes that, compared to wolves, a lion may be more aggressive. He said he wanted me to be a monster. There is no doubt that it is a male lion of the age. This matches the body type described by people. Flat head, black lines on the back, and the power to take away adults, and strong jumping ability. It looks like a lion. Although in 18th century France, lions are already household names. But the vast majority of people only seen derivatives of the lion image. I have never seen a real lion. In 1936, French diplomat Abel Cheval, in his writings, Make Me a Monster in Art, mentioned such a point of view. The so-called heat nest is a monster. It is actually a human-trained hunting dog or dogs. The purpose is the royal field and honor. And the mastermind is the werewolf hunter, Denevar. He uses trained dogs or other animals. Put on wild pig skin, blocking musket bullets. In the end, he completed the shooting himself. Achieve glory, because Abel found it in the records. Many doubts. Like the gun used in the killing. There is a disagreement on the record. The bulletin said shotgun. The official word is firebug. For example, the wolf of Chaz was identified very efficiently. It seems that there are many places near the Friar Chaz. Those who have seen this beast and identify on the spot. And the most suspicious is September 23rd, 1765. Governor Balvenie was in Clement. Right to Denevar. Indicated on the evening of the 22nd, received about Chaz wolf, and start embalming. But Chaz was killed on the 20th. This means that the wolf must hit the road immediately after being killed. there is a consignment of transportation to arrive on time. So the corpse officially received, most likely, Denever's son. Before the real Shaz wolf was hunted. It's already on the way. The bodies on both sides are fake. A similar point of view. In 1946, the French writer Henri Poulet's Beast is also depicted in the True History of Art. Describe. Spanish mysterious zoologist Gustavo Romero, in his book Heat Nest, when mentioned in Monster Mystery Art, beasts may be instruments of religious conflict. Or excuse 14th century. The Diocese of Mende became a church principality. The bishop becomes the Earl of Verdant. Rule the land. In the parish, Bishop Monte's status is very high. In 1685, Louis XIV and XIII White Road Order. The nonce order was repealed. Reject the religion of jealousy. Religious persecution. Intensifying domestic class contradictions caused riots in the early 18th century. The Anti-Mesa Uprising. Although the rebellion was suppressed, but there were religious tensions. And those barren mountains where monsters are said to be infested. It may have become a haven for fleeing Protestants. French homestay scientist Véronica Con Vincent believes the so-called beast attack, most likely a Protestant, working with Catholic residents, settle accounts, and more recent events. The mid-18th century conflict with the Jesuits. A similar situation. The Jesuits were expelled from France on June 15, 1764. And the Bishop of Mende in the south dealt with the Jesuits. Relative tolerance. Does this mean the people behind the beast are members of the Society of Jesus? Canadian writer René de Chantal wrote in 1983, "Let me be the monster, speculated in Doomsday. The real beast is a tiger. Bone-breaking hybrids." In 1993, Alex, written by Max, "Let me be the beast that devours the world in art," proposed the theory of embarrassment. In 1978, the French historian In the Art of Wild Animals expressed this possibility. Is a perverted, sadistic guess. French writer André Aubin spent a lot of time chasing the story of me being a monster, and in 2009 and 2010 published 2 consecutive related books. Content, in addition to corollary beast events for Lower Stell. Beyond the family conspiracy, it is also mentioned that the murderer may be due to the 7 Years' War and lose their home. I have to be stupid to survive. It's a person, it's a disease, and so on and so forth. Speculation about what it is that makes me a monster. Pretty messy, if you will. Some people reason from a biological point of view, because the theory depends on the context of the times at that time. Due to religious or political factors, combine the information I can find. I personally think, compared to lions, animals such as tigers and hounds, wolf attack, and community justice is indeed the most reasonable explanation. Although it was first recorded that the creature resembled a wolf, rather than wolves, but actually, almost all eyewitness reports, except for the difference in detailed description, describes the creature as a wolf. We will always believe. I'm not the same person who is raging, or the same group of animals. Wolf, attack, and eating the world. It's just being watched and amplified at this point in time. leads to more people attacking ordinary wolves. Blame it on the so-called "make me a monster." In addition, conspiracy theories are plausible. Except for religious factors, the political context at that time was also taken into account. During the reign of King Louis XV, it extends over the period of Louis X, legacy of war, and development-related financial and human issues. In addition to the subsequent religious conflicts, until the 1740s, people just ushered in a relatively peaceful phase. But after the death of Cardinal Fleury in 1743, 615 officially takes power alone. Also began his corrupt court life. The extent of his affection shocked people. He also likes to go out hunting. And let me be the monster, this remote and bizarre man-eating animal. It piqued his interest. Send troops and werewolf hunters. In fact, it is also to kill this ferocious beast. Captured as a collectible. He had 6,000 levers of wishes. When the monster's corpse, a lot of money can make people lose themselves. It's the same in every age. Take these into account. Someone made up a story. Fabricate lies. Even in captivity. Cheating kings and other tastes are possible. Of course, guesswork is just guesswork. So far, no one knows that centuries ago, what animal caused the sensation in France? Destroyed bodies and specimens. Make it a bothersome historical puzzle. We can only learn from a few early documents and a large number of modern research records. Attempt to deduce the truth of wild art. His stories are also the work of many cultural authors. Provides excellent material. Thanks. A novel based on the event of Hotspot as a monster. Derivative works such as movies and TV series emerge in an endless stream. Continuously reinventing this end, the image of the legendary beast in public impressions. I believe, let me be a monster story. It won't end like this. It's like an IDM incident report. Until the 1950s, it was just discovered in the French National Archives. Maybe there are many more detailed reports that have not been found. In a corner, waiting for people to explore and excavate. As that sentence, the unknown is always greater than the known. This is the perfect charm. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.